Alright lads, it's the Meta Goblin here, and today I'm piloting a new style of video which is going to be called the How It Should Work series. And what it involves is me basically ranting about how shit things are and redesigning them in a better way. Okay? My opinion and everyone else's general opinion. So today's edition, we're going to be talking about leveling. Okay? So first of all, let's talk about the problem of leveling. Whenever anyone thinks about leveling, the simple problem is they think it. The idea when you think you have to, oh shit, I'm gonna have to level every ult, right? It's a negative thing, okay? But before Wrath of the Lich King roundabout, it wasn't really a negative thing, okay? And we're gonna work out exactly why. So the problems with leveling right now. First problem is difficulty. It's too fucking easy, right? It's just like not a challenge at all. It's not immersive, okay? Basically, all you do now is you go into fucking dungeons and you grind. Basically, leveling is a grind. Leveling shouldn't be a grind. Leveling should be an enjoyable experience. So the very simple revamp to leveling, the basic principle would be to, what I would like, is to make the leveling more difficult, more of a challenge, more interesting, and make it shorter. At the end of the day, it takes 48 hours for you to level 1 to 100, okay? There are some games in my library on Steam I haven't even played for that long, okay? I mean, to put it into perspective, I think it takes about, on average, 9 hours to complete Half-Life 2, okay? Half-Life 2 is a full fucking game, okay? World of Warcraft leveling is like only the fucking first step of the game, and it's 48 hours. 48 hours to actually start playing the game properly. That's a fucking problem, okay? It should only be about as long as a campaign, a single-player campaign game, 9 hours, 10 hours, maybe 12. It shouldn't be that long, okay? So my simple alterations would be to make the questing more interesting but shorter. So what I've been thinking is to get rid of most of the quests. I mean, I don't understand why Blizzard revamped all the original, Azeroth quests. There's absolutely no point of doing that because nobody fucking played them. Everyone just grinds them in Dungeon Fighter because it's easier to do, and to be honest, it's probably quicker, right? So, and you don't actually have to think. You don't actually have to apply your brain. What I was thinking is, I don't understand why they've completely scrapped the scenarios. None of them came back in WoD. Why not apply them to leveling? What I've been thinking is, like, say for leveling 20 to 30, I think there should be 3 options, 3 zones in that level range, and for each zone there is a scenario, which is like a very, I don't know, maybe it takes about an hour to 2 hours to complete that kind of zone, and in that zone there's like a long scenario, a long interesting quest line, cinematics, a bit of fucking actual effort into the leveling, and it's just like playing a single player campaign. But obviously this is an MMO, okay? Let's be honest, we all level on our own when we quest, which is shit. And when you group in a party, the XP is nerfed, which makes no sense. I was thinking, have the option to play on your own, okay? But perhaps if you group up in a party to do these scenarios, the quests become flexible. In flexible, all raids are flexible now. So the more people, the more health a boss has. Okay, why not have that implemented into the scenarios? These zoned scenarios. Okay, so the more people you have, the more the more health things are, the more challenging everything is, okay? And perhaps when you group up with more people, you get more experience, you get more gold, you get more transmog gear, some kind of cosmetic bonus, something like that. So when I say scenario, I'm not saying something like a small dungeon sized thing that you have to queue up for. I'm saying the whole zone functions like a scenario. No, it's not actually a scenario. I'm just saying that in that zone there is like one. Fair enough. People complain about the games being linear, but I don't give a shit. If you have 3 zones to choose from, but it isn't linear, is it, for like each level range? So you know, you go to that place, you actually have to like make the effort to walk there or ride there, which is always a really cool thing I thought back in the day when you know moved around the map. You actually have to go out there and explore. Perhaps exploring gives a lot more XP, so it's more rewarding. And so you get into the zone. If there's other people there, you group up with them, and you know that kind of thing. You know, so you get, and basically, you know, the thing that kind of irritates people about questing is that, you know, you have to think, and there's a lot of it to do. You know, you have to grind, and then you have to go back and forth. Leveling shouldn't be a grind as well, because actually questing is a grind. I think it's a little more fun than Dungeon Finder, but it's still at the end of the day is a grind. Why not have it more of an investigation? Back in the day, you actually had to read quest information and work out where the hell you had to go and do something, like it would say to the north, to the east. And that kind of thing, it should be implemented. There shouldn't be a quest helper at all. There should be a way, you know, you have to read, you have to work out where you're going to go, what you have to do, and you go and do it. I mean, that is 10 times more rewarding than just having it marked on the map. Okay? Now, a few of you might be thinking, you know, oh, this sounds like too much of a chore. It sounds horrible. You know, it sounds like too much work. I mean, I just want to level up as quick as possible. But if it was more rewarding, if it was shorter, like just playing a single player campaign, this would actually work. More challenging, but shorter. That would be a definitely more interesting and enjoyable, rewarding way to level. Now, I wouldn't exactly completely rule out the Dungeon Finder. I think the Dungeon Finder still is interesting. I would make it more of a scenario, so it's more, you know, there's a bit more cinematical things going on, a bit more interesting. But I would have a cap on the amount of dungeons you can do, to encourage this kind of like zoned leveling. I think it would be more interesting to go for that kind of thing. But perhaps dungeons are actually integrated into the leveling experience, so perhaps a dungeon only unlocks when you're so far in a quest, and perhaps you get the option to do the dungeon to get a bit more experience, maybe. Or maybe it's at the end of a zone. At the end of each zone there's a set of dungeons available, and you have to do those dungeons to progress to the next zone. Perhaps you know, perhaps like Dead Mines becomes available at level 30, and then, you know, perhaps level 30 to 40 you only have to do dungeons. So you know, basically 40 to 50, you know, 30 to 40, you have to do like a load of dungeons, and you have to get through all these dungeons, you know, to level up in that zone. But I think it's important because the dungeons actually do have like a linked lore with the zone that they're in, and I think it's like completely overlooked. So I would like to see it implemented into the lore. And when it comes to dungeons, I think there should be an option also to solo dungeons. I think you should be able to queue up on your own, queue up as 3 people, queue as 2 people, you know, and everything just becomes flexible. I mean, Blizzard have implemented a flexible system into raiding. Why not apply it to literally everything? It's a really amazing idea. You know, apply it to leveling, so you can go into a dungeon and solo it. I think that would be really cool. Perhaps it's less rewarding if you solo it, you know, like I said, more rewarding, more difficult, challenging when you group as a party. So, and at the end of the day, dungeoning at the moment is really too easy as well. So yeah, I would like to, basically, at the end of the day, my basic idea is to make questing more difficult, more challenging, more rewarding, but shorter. As long as playing, like, I don't know, like the main storyline on Skyrim, which you could probably complete in a few hours. Not 48 hours. 48 hours, I mean, it just takes a piss. Okay, 40 hours takes a piss. I know people can do it quicker, but it really just takes a piss. 48 hours of grinding. That's what it is right now. It's fucking abysmal. I don't understand why it's a fucking thing. It's horrible. I mean, I don't understand how people actually get into this game with a 48-hour grind. But anyway, my name is the Metagoblin. And until my next... you know, what the fuck am I saying here? My name is the Metagoblin, and until my next video... Ciao!